Hi.
Hey,
Thanks for doing this.
you bet.
If you could tell me who you are to me, a relation to me, you know.
Well, I'm your brother, your older brother. That's who I am.
And how do you remember me growing up? Brother and sister.
That is that's a kind of a tricky question, I think. For a couple of reasons. Think about this. We were about 3 years apart or so. There were three girls and me living in the same house, so it was almost as if there were two separate entities there. But we did share, and I do remember this very clearly, we did share bunk beds on Augusta Street for several years. That was a little odd, I think. However, by the time I was in seventh grade or so, I think we had moved by that point. So I don't think there was any, you know, I don't think there was any, near misses as far as, that goes. But this is what I remember. And so we were speaking earlier about me going off to school, after eighth grade. And so I was gone for a couple of years and I went to other high schools. So the interaction with you and the rest of the family was less than you might have thought it would be. But I do remember distinctly that you were an athlete, frankly, that you had, this kind of swimming career. And I always thought that if in fact you had been born 10 or 15 years later, you probably would have been a collegiate athlete. Because, well, you had the, unlike Dad, played college basketball for a short time and played, division baseball in the Army, which was a pretty big deal back in the 40s. So you had, and I remember, you were Dad's favorite, of course. So well, you were. So I remember you playing basketball with Dad, which, I have a very, very clear memory of that. And but as a family unit, it was kind of like you guys and me, kind of. So there was a long, and this really doesn't go to the heart of your question, what I remember about you, because, but I was gone a lot of the time. We didn't have the kind of family that had this kind of, how do I want to put that? Super close knit, we're all in this together kind of thing, I mean, I remember the road trip to Florida, I remember, the family going to A&W, going to Kittyland, that kind of thing. It was rare, but those are the kind of things, and but so most of the time, you were off doing your thing with your friends. We didn't interact much on the way to and from school. There was a kind of a 50s, 60s mentality of, which I think we've come back to. Don't ever touch a girl, don't ever hit a girl, don't ever. That was kind of metaphorically beaten into me at a very young age. So, I kind of shied away, I think. So, but the athleticism, I remember that distinctly. You were the good girl.
Yeah, some of those memories, I forgot about the Kittyland and the.
Yeah.
I'm playing basketball with Dad, and that was pretty cool. I totally forgot about that. See, I need to rely on you for those memories because I don't have.
Yeah, I was very jealous.
You were?
Yeah. Well, I was a teenager. Dad hated me back then.
Well, didn't parents hate all teenagers?
Well, I think long-haired, smart aleck teenager at that particular, 1968, or 69, you know, just,
Sure.
and even Dad said many years later, he said, yeah, for some reason we were all worried about hair a lot. He said, you know, one of those things, so, yeah.
Get a haircut.
Yeah, and then, so if you go past childhood, you know, I moved away, started a family, the interactions started to become closer together, that kind of thing after, you know, we all kind of, you know, matured into our, you know, mid-20s, so. And then, of course, your fashion consciousness, your good cheer and spirit, and, you know, kind of killer sense of humor, you know, that kind of thing. So,
Wow.
but the childhood stuff, you know, that's kind of a blur. I was, you know, I remember all my friends better than interacting with my sisters. You put it that way. And, you know, living in fear.
Living in fear,
Wow.
and the drama meter turns up.
Yeah, right.
So growing up, because of our age difference, and because you were the single male of the household,
Yep.
that's a couple reasons why we weren't maybe as close as we maybe should have been or could have been. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what should or could have been, but you know, it wasn't the Hallmark version of the, you know, 1950s, 60s, you know, tight-knit family, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with it, but
No.
just kind of the way it was. So it'd be natural for you to hang out with your two older sisters, right?
Mhm.
And not your erstwhile brother. Just a thought.
And we may have touched a little bit on this. Do you have a memory of me succeeding at something or failing at something?
Oh, without a doubt, your swimming, you know, they had a wall full of ribbons and stuff. And like I say, I thought you were an athlete. That's an easy one. I don't remember any failures, frankly. I mean, seriously. I mean, as a child or as a kid, you know, I mean, we were all failures, weren't we? You know, I mean, I have no idea how well you did in school. None. You know, I just that wasn't. You know, I don't. But the fact that you know, all these swimming meets and you know, you're always winning, or you know, you're always getting a ribbon and all that kind of stuff, and you had a lot of success with that. And again, I don't know what it was about. I don't know why you didn't. Were you in athletics in high school?
I don't think there was there a swim team at St. Catherine's? That must be where I swam at the country club.
Yeah.
But I don't know if there was swimming. I feel like I continued it after the country club stuff. Well, I want to say there was some kind of swimming at St. Catherine's, but I also played basketball at St. Catherine's. I was a forward on the basketball team for maybe a couple of years. What they call it, intramural? I don't know what they call it. But I did that for a couple of years. But other than that, I don't think there was any athletics.
Was this the basketball where the forwards could only go to the center line? I remember that when I was in grade school, the girls' team. It was like a half-court game. It was bizarre.
I want to say.
'Cause I think it was. If you went to high school in 67 or 68 through 71.
72, right.
72, yeah.
I want to say it was a whole court, but that's in my own fantastical memory.
Yeah. Well, go on classmates.com and look at the yearbook.
And I do remember all the ribbons. And in a fit of whatever, I just got rid of them all. I mean, I guess I could have saved them, but why? We just
That's okay.
Yeah, I know. I
You
know.
know, I got to be honest
I
with
know.
you.
But it's like, how long do you hang on to that stuff? Yeah.
Well, but you want to know how long?
Mm-hmm.
Irene has trophies that Matt won as a kid down in the basement here. Yeah. Well, that's how long you could hang on to them. So I'm going to load him in the car and drive him down to Dallas next summer, so he can have him back.
He might want them.
Well, you know,
Yeah. What kind of trophies?
like
For-
baseball and stuff like that, you know, basketball. He's a good basketball player, actually. Saw him play. So if we leap forward, you know, out of childhood about successes, you know, you had a very successful marriage for a long time. You know, you picking up this project, whether it's everything you hope it'll be or not, is a huge thing, you know, without question.
And that leads into my next question. How do you feel about me and me doing this film and the film itself? And
What I think is that, excuse me, it shows a tremendous amount of courage on your part. The fact that starting this project with Dennis way back when, I don't know if that's 4 years ago, something like that. And then, you know, Dennis's illness and how everything was put on hold and how just the thought of, you know, trying to pick it up and put it together on your own, it's just, I just think it's courageous. I have no idea what it's going to end up to be, but the fact that you had the guts and initiative to say, you know what, I'm going to get this done. It's just awesome. So the only thing I know about your project is, number one, it's been going on for a while. Number two, you're courageous in picking it up. And number three, you talk to a lot of old people,
well,
so to speak.
so to speak. Yeah. Thank you for saying all that, because
Well, that's how I
means-
feel.
It means a lot.
That's how I
that-
feel.
Yeah, I know. I can see it in your eyes. Because it is challenging, and it is, trust me, there's days I just want to go, yeah, I don't think so.
Right.
But I've come this far and bared my soul for 3 years. So I'm not going to stop now, for sure. No. But it means a lot coming from you, because you're, I don't know, it just does. Because any praise I get from you is just, I love it, because it just, I don't know. I don't get a lot of praise from a lot of people, and then coming from you, it means even more. Because you're cool.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I'm very
Well, you are. Yeah. I was telling these girls, my crew, earlier yesterday I think, that you've written me cards and notes and have told me that I know you're always going to be there for me. Even though we don't see each other a lot or talk to each other a lot, I know you're there to take care of me, or, you know, I can talk to you whenever I want. You're just gonna, it's nice to know somebody's out there. Because I don't have that person in my life, so knowing that you're there, that means a lot.
Well,
That's how I feel.
you know, I think that the arc of our lives has, even though, you know, we're separated by, you know, I lived out of town for almost 20 years, you know, that kind of thing, and you know how much I appreciated you taking care of Mom during that period of time and beyond. You know, the fact that you know, dealing with Dennis's illness, you know, I know that I value that kind of loyalty just as much as you do, and you know, that's a big thing with me. You know, sometimes you don't always get that from the people you love. Sometimes you get zero, you know. But even though our family wasn't close, wasn't the Hallmark version, I still feel, I don't know, the only way I can put it is that loyalty, you know. You've had everybody's back in a lot of different ways, Terry, Mom, etc. So.
I'm just looking at your hands. Your hands look like Dad's hands right now.
Oh yeah, I've got the same Thomas broken blood vessels on the side of my face that our grandfather had and Dad had, right in the exact same spot. It's like, it's weird. Yeah.
Try to ruin a tender moment, but that, as we're talking and the loyalty and the family stuff, as I'm looking at your hands, and it's just all kind of tied together.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah.
Kind of lost it. There was a card that I wanted to read from, and I don't have it with me. Can you maybe get the card up? I think it's on the counter up there. Yeah. That my brother sent to me a while ago.
Oh.
For a birthday. Thank you so much. Yeah. Sorry if I ruined, like, whatever. This is from a birthday. I don't know. I think it was when I turned 60.
Oh.
I'm
Just
not gonna
a
read
couple
the
of years ago.
So 400 years ago. I'm not going to read the front because what's most important is inside. Dear Tracey, it is hard to believe that the whole gang is now 60 plus. Tomorrow on your birthday, remember all that you have accomplished. Remember all the joy you bring to all who know you. Remember all who love you. You have so much to be proud of. You have so much to look forward to. That's amazing. If you ever get lonely or you need a laugh or a ride, I don't know, a ride, or a glass of wine, remember your bro has your back. Love you, T2.
Yeah.
And that's just incredible to me. So thank you.
I always mean that. Anything I put in a card, I mean. If I can't think of anything nice, then I just sign it. So if you get one of those, in the next year or two,
Okay.
Yeah.
But this is a treasure to me. It means a lot.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad for that.
Yeah.
Because it can sound sappy, that kind of thing. So I appreciate that.
We are done with the questions. If there's anything else you want to share, you want to chat about, I think we have a few minutes. So unless we can end there, whatever.
The fact that you asked me to do this, I can't tell you how awesome that was. Made me really, really feel great. Whether or not I end up in the film or not, whether, you keep it for your private archives, to play when you're 90 years old, I don't know. But I was really, really happy to get asked. I really was. So I hope, and again, I've told this to more than one person. I pray that this is a success for you. That it turns out the way you want it to, and that you get, and that other people appreciate your work.
Thank you.
When are you going to do your own radio show?
I don't know.
You're such a natural. It's just
Gosh.
incredible.
I'm so glad I came over here today. All these awesome, lovely, incredible compliments. Thank you.
Well, you're one of the, you're one out of the group that actually has some talent. So yeah, really. Yeah, I have other talents, but they
So
they don't.
The group meaning our family, or the group meaning who? The group. You said you're one.
The
out
four
of
of us kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you could you could be an actor or a professor. You could teach something. You could totally be an actor. I don't know when are you going to be an actor? When are you going to do
What
community
do you
theater?
think this is?
This is all lies.
Yeah, right.
I knew it.
I'm thinking of, so when I told my boss I was going to be off this afternoon, and he said, is there anything I need to worry about? Like you're going on a job interview, that kind, he's a funny guy. He's a brilliant guy. I said, no, my sister's making a documentary, and she asked me to, I'm going to have this crew here, in the afternoon. He says, oh, you're the caterer? You make sure you get a credit. And I said, well, no, she's going to interview me for her documentary about, I'm not exactly sure what, but he says, I just pray to God it's politics, Tim. He said, well, and we're not going to do that for obvious reasons, but that's what, he says, oh, please tell me it's politics. He thinks I should have a blog, and the answer to that's no.
Why is that a no? Why not?
I don't have the, I don't have the desire to do it.
Well, you have the smarts to do it, maybe not the desire, but you have the talent to do it.
There's plenty of bloggers out there that do the same thing I would do, so.
So acting, what about acting? Let's go back to acting.
Acting?
Why not acting?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Did you act in high school?
Yeah, oh yeah.
So how come you don't?
I was awesome.
Yeah, well, there you go.
I actually got a review in the local paper.
Yeah.
Outstanding performance. Mom clipped it out. I don't know what she went. And I was in several plays when I was a senior in high school, and I did a little bit of directing as well. And I was like every other high school kid. I was good. Dad didn't come to see me. However, I was offered a scholarship to go to the University of Indiana for a summer, musical studio workshop thing. I didn't. I hitchhiked to California instead. But that's, by the way, if you've got 5 hours, I've got stories on any possible situation. But that was the drama coach at Horlick High School put me in for it, and he says, you can go. He says, you only have to pay for whatever. And, that just wasn't going to happen. And I won't tell you what Dad said about me being an actor. So, we'll have to do that off camera because that was really untoward. But, yeah, I would have to, if I really wanted to do it, then I would have to go learn how to do it. You just can't show up at Green Bay Community Theater and say, hey, I want to be an actor. It doesn't work that way.
Well, let's go back to the scholarship thing. Was it a school or was it a?
It was University of Indiana.
So why didn't you do that?
It was 1970.
California was calling.
Yeah, really.
Well, yeah, okay.
And then it's like, we were just morons back then. So, just not very smart. So, I hitchhiked to California. Then I went back again. After an earthquake, we drove out there because we were all going to get construction jobs.
Did you?
Well, of course not. Jeez.
Where in California?
When we got there, we hitchhiked up and down the coast, actually. Remember Jim Nolad?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Jim Nolad was going to the University of San Francisco, so we hitchhiked up there and stayed with him in his dorm room for, 5 days.
Okay.
Drank Coors beer. And he never graduated, he dropped out. But he was supposed to be at that reunion. Mm. He didn't show. He lives in La Crosse.
Yeah.
And he's it's got back when I was on Facebook, which I haven't been on for a year, he has like a band.
Yeah, I think he does.
He also owned Cape Financial, which was a financial services organization way back when. His brother is still at Robert W. Baird. You know, he was a captain in the Army, and then has been working for Baird for years. We used to work in the same building. I'd see him every once in a while. So, yeah, good times.
Good times indeed. The good old days.
Yeah.
Tracey,
Yes.
can we talk about Mom a little bit?
Talk about Mom? Oh,
Just anything about her.
Mom's always a good topic.
Jeez.
You were very close with Mom.
Yeah. Well, I was her favorite.
You were.
Well, who was ever in the room was her favorite, pretty much. I mean, you realize that Mom said something on the same subject different to all of us. I mean, it was like a hysterical,
Kind of.
you know.
That's true.
But Mom was either born too late or too early. You know, you take your pick. You know, she was kind of to the manner born, so to speak, for upper middle class in Racine, Wisconsin, whatever that means back then. But highly educated, one of the smartest people I've ever known, one of the most literate people I've ever known, and she never finished college, obviously, but she got Dad, so she went home to get ready to get married, I guess, so whatever. But she was such an astute observer, and at the same time so incredibly articulate. You ever hear her sing? It was great. So she went away to school, so she thought it was a good idea for me to go away to school. That's how that happened. She went to Kemper Hall in Kenosha, and you've got some of those pictures. I mean, I remember seeing those, yearbooks and stuff. And she was Weekie, that was her nickname. She was in theater there. So she always thought she had like some tie to Orson Welles, who lived in Kenosha for like 15 minutes. But so she wanted me to do that. That's how I kind of got into that a little bit. But I remember as a kid, she took me on the train down to Chicago to see the road version of Bye Bye Birdie. And it was absolutely thrilled. I couldn't believe that people were on stage doing that they were the performing. Now, it was many years later, and she would take me to the movies in the afternoon sometimes in Racine, just her and I, and she would take me to like A Man for All Seasons, you know, that kind of thing. Things that she wanted to see that had some sort of literary base to them. And I'm not saying I understood them all the time, but Dad took me to see Sinking of the Bismarck, so that, you know, there was kind of a, you know, wide kind of thing there. But so Mom reminds me of my daughter, who is the most literate person that I know. She could teach American literature if she chose to, in my opinion, you know. But yeah, Mom was, like you say, she reminded me of Betty Davis in this way, that once she got to be a little bit older, she wasn't the most beautiful woman in the world, but she made you believe that she was. Just like Betty, you know, Betty Davis was in these movies and she was like supposed to be, and you know, she had a certain look about her, but you know, Mom was able to carry that, you know, she was able to, I mean, she looked, you know, I don't know, were you a Mad Men fan?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm the exact same age as Sally Draper would have been. So when I'm watching this, I'm saying, there's Mom, there's Dad, there's me, you know, it's fantastic, great stuff. But yeah, so Mom, in a lot of ways, was a woman of that era without question, and the way they lived, dinner parties every other week, getting dressed up to go to parties, putting, Dad was always in a coat and tie, and and I always laugh because sometimes they drink before they went to the parties.
It's called pre-drinking.
Yeah, pre-drinking, yeah. And they always drank, they always had a drink before they went out to dinner someplace, always.
Yes.
Pre-drinking, because,
Yes.
I think they was saving the buck and a
don't-
half.
I don't know.
But and the parties that they had where they'd always have a caterer, they'd always put cigarettes out, and that was one of my jobs. It was like take the cigarettes out of the pack and put them in the little cigarette holders, that kind of thing. And then the next day you'd drink the creme de menthe that that was half drinking, but so. I remember her and her, God, I got so many memories, obviously, but the wit and she could just skewer you, and Terry was like that too, our older sister. She was really smart, so anyway.
How was Tracey and your mom's relationship throughout time?
So, because the other three of us were disappointments,
Oh,
Mom decided she was going to work on Tracey. And she told me that. So, oh yeah, I got her married to Bob, and she took her credit for all of this stuff. But basically, she was going to groom you to be successful. And then, she sent you off to finishing school, right?
yeah, John Robert Powers,
Yeah,
modeling school.
Yeah,
Or finish
right.
school, I guess.
yeah, right.
Finishing
Yeah,
school. There we go.
yeah.
Okay.
So, because, your other two sisters had bad experiences in college, and I left home, but, so Mom had this protective way, and this, I'm gonna help guide Tracey through this period of time, and of course in the end, as time progressed, you were her go-to person. You were there. You were the one who was there all the time. You were the one there who took care of everything. So while it sounds, the first part of this little story sounds a little, I'm trying to think of a movie analogy. It's not coming to me right now, but in the end, you guys got, whether, maybe it was a little bit phony to start with, but it got closer and closer and closer and closer and closer over time. And it became, an unbelievable story, how much time and energy you put into taking care of her.